cause that be natural.
Lady
I ain't
D.
looking tacky. I keep my game tactful.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm so nappy.
M.O.B.
Cause that be natural.
The infamous.
I ain't looking tacky cause I keep my game tactful.
I'm so pretty, I'm so fat, boo. I'm so natural, it's like it's a taboo. I'm so filthy, got the tattoo stuck in these bitches like I own ragu. On my business with my platoon, getting these minutes like I'm a typhoon. Down the jersey on that cartoon and I'm sitting on top.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Afros and Baby Hairs, and thank you for joining me in the reading room. And today we'll be discussing book review number 14, which will be on Bankroll Squad 3. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts and opinions on this book, then please stay tuned. I am not and do not promote this book to anyone who is under the age of 18. This book and video is for an adult audience. Therefore, if you are under the age of 18, please get your parents' consent and or supervision. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's get into this book review. So yeah, I want to start off by telling you guys about the new characters that are in this particular book. So we have Treasure, Milan, and Sky. Milan and Sky are twins, but these three girls are part of the Lipstick Clique. We also have Rorath and his brother Ralph, which is a captain of the smuggle ship or the smuggle boat. And then we also have Sanao, and this is an agent working as Pam's partner for the transport of Malcolm from one correctional facility to the other one. So yeah, off with Sweetback Fatty arranging an attack on Tracy at the jail. You know, Tracy is his baby mama, aka Wet, who kind of started in a situationship with Malcolm. But anyway, Sweetback Fatty wants her killed by some of the chicks that he knows in the jail. These chicks have been keeping in contact with him for some reason. I don't know their whole situation, but he's arranging for them to beat her to death. Kyla is forced to answer Sunshine's question on whether she loves her or not with a pistol pointed in her face. She actually told her yes, but then asked where was Malcolm. Sunshine responded with something like, I made a mistake. You know, she came up with something about the cop shot her with a taser and she lost her grip. Of course, Kyla wanted to kill her right then and there, but there really wasn't anything she could do at that moment. Was being badly beaten over at the FBI's headquarters. They were trying to get answers out of him, trying to figure out where the squad went. And, you know, Malcolm is supposedly very loyal to the squad. So when he didn't tell them the information that they were looking for, they tried to use Tracy. They showed him pictures of her all beat up, but like I said, Sweetback Fatty had her beat up. So they had him thinking that maybe Tracy was dead because of how badly beaten she was and unconscious. Jennifer somehow ended up in the hospital with a bad infection in her butt cheeks. She ended up thinking about Malcolm a lot during her stay. Later on, she heard her roommates in the other bed beside her screaming in pain. They were separated by a curtain, so she did not know who the person was. However, the lady kept screaming and blabbering on and on about the FBI. Anyway, Jennifer started talking to her and soon discovered it was Pam, the agent who was responsible for taking down Malcolm and the squad. Jennifer threatened Pam, especially after she found out that she was Pam. And then Pam kept talking in a calm tone, telling Jennifer that she was supposed to go down with Malcolm them because she was spending the illegal money. She also told Jennifer that she knew all of her secrets, including sleeping with Malcolm's best friend, Catfish. Jennifer didn't deny Catfish. She just said that their thing was before Malcolm. Either way, Jennifer tried to kill Pam with a pen holder before she told her secrets to the public. The attempted murder was unsuccessful. The pen holder wasn't strong enough to kill someone. However, it did get Jennifer charged with attempting to murder a federal agent. I'm like, a pen holder? Really? You know, for those of you who really can't imagine what that looks like, you know, at the hotels, they give you this little cup with pens in it. Yeah. Members of the Dynasty Cartel, Raleigh and Diaz, were out hitting up all the clubs that the Bankroll squad used to hit up and stunt in. They were trying to do the same thing as the Bankroll squad. However, they didn't know that the Lipstick Clique was in the building, acting as an extension of the Bankroll squad. So whatever money the Dynasty Cartel was dropping, the Lipstick Clique dropped more, even dumped a cold $40,000 on the gentleman's table to let them know money wasn't a thing. Treasure made sure to let the gentleman know that the Bankroll squad wasn't dead. So yes, these are the girls from the Bankroll squad that I told you about. I mean, from the Lipstick Clique that I told you about in the beginning, the new characters. Sunshine ended up getting handcuffed to a pole on the jet upon running into Luther. So she also managed to lose her gun during the collision. And Rain ended up with the gun. Luther was mad at himself when Sunshine revealed to him that Malcolm wasn't on the flight. Anyway, soon thereafter, they decided to all jump out of the plane. They gave everyone their parachute, but Sunshine, she was still cuffed, and there was no longer a pilot because Brink and Catfish jumped first. Anyway, before Luther and Rain jumped, Rain taught Sunshine a knife. There was also a parachute left behind, so keep that in mind. Malcolm was now on the way to a maximum security prison in Colorado. He thought about his boss status, his life with Kyla, and then also Tracy on the way to this new facility. The crew ended up in a forest in some part of Texas and later heard the plane crashing. They figured Sunshine died in the crash as well. Catfish ended up testing Luther's gangster, and Kyla went off to cop them a whip. She ended up getting a black SUV, but Catfish had walked off in a whole other direction from them and was left in the forest with his thoughts. Kyla ended up asking Rain did she know of any trustworthy people they could add to the team, and the only people Rain could think of was the crew Sunshine had spoken on earlier, and that was the Lipstick Clique. Meanwhile, we get to know the Lipstick Clique. Sky and Milan are identical twins, but Sky is more calm and more heavyset than Milan. Milan was petite and a wild card. Treasure was the leader. She had been set up by her friends and ended up in prison. However, she had escaped and turned out very cold-hearted. The girls robbed and killed, and at this point in time, they were at the Dynasty Cartel estate, robbing them blind. They dropped 40 stacks at the bar on the Dynasty Cartel's table, but was robbing them for 200 stacks plus their weed. Anyhow, Sky ended up leaving the clique name on the front door of the mansion in red lipstick, which upset the twin and Treasure because they weren't trying to expose themselves yet to this clique. So they were upset with her because they were just supposed to go in, rob these dudes, and leave. But she wrote their name on the door and all of this stuff like that. And a couple more places in the house with this red lipstick, but that wasn't a part of the plan. That's why Sky is like a wild card, you know. Anyway, Jennifer was back in jail, and after only being there a short while, she heard a lady screaming and fighting with the officers who were bringing her in. They ended up putting the lady in the cell with Jennifer. She didn't recognize the girl because her face was so swollen and badly beaten. However, the girl recognized her. It was Tracy, and she went right back into Jennifer's face, reminding her of all the things she was saying at the prison. So remember, they fought at the prison because Jennifer walked in talking about her butt, the new butt job or whatever, and acting like she was still married to Malcolm. So yeah, Tracy remembered. So anyway, his plan was to break Malcolm out of prison, but she didn't want anybody on her team to help that felt pressured to. So she told them all they could leave and head for the Philippines. They already had accounts set up with millions of dollars in them in all of their names. So Brink walked, then Luther and Rain were about to walk until Rain discovered Luther was a wimp. Rain had Kyla's back, so she's the only one that stayed. Kyla was saddened by everyone walking at first, but she appreciated Rain for having her back. Raleigh and Diaz of the Dynasty Cartel realized that their mansion had been robbed after they showed up with their tricks for the night, and with the free 40 stacks they got from the Lipstick Clique. Raleigh ran in the house to discover both his safes were empty. Catfish was still in the forest. He reflected back on his life, his betrayal to Malcolm, and even his past romantic fling with Jennifer. Anyway, Catfish began walking into town and ended up at a diner. Let's just say because of the topic of conversation and the television in the diner was playing the current news, Catfish was back to himself in no time. The Lipstick Clique wasn't done with the Dynasty Cartel yet. They decided to rob their what appeared to be their main trap house. It was decked out with expensive electronics and TV, all this in this little trap house, supposedly trap house. Anyway, later the ladies find out that this was actually a storage unit with over $5 million stashed in it. They collected on that $5 million and they bodied a few of the men who were there as well, including the main security guard type guy. Anyway, back at the jail, Tracy was wearing Jennifer out, but Jennifer mustered up the courage and strength to throw a punch back, and she ended up knocking Tracy down on the concrete floor, sending her into a miscarriage as well as convulsions. She screamed and held her stomach. Soon Jennifer realized that Tracy was pregnant with Malcolm's baby, and she knew that she hadn't been able to give him any children. Even though they were trying. She was at that point sorry for what she had just done and wished she would have just laid there and took the beating. Eventually the guards came to see what was going on. Rain and Kyla went to visit the Lipstick Clique resident, but at first the girls weren't there. But soon they showed up with their guns on Rain and Kyla's neck. The clique took them as intruders at first. Later they discovered who they were, but Sky didn't get the memo. She threatened Kyla and started putting her finger in the girl's face. Next thing you know, Kyla had flipped out on her and left the girl snoring. Anyway, the Lipstick Clique decided not to help Kyla break Malcolm out of prison. Treasure thought it would be too risky. However, they did give them some pistols and wished them the best. One ended up contacting Raleigh to let him know that the money storage facility had been robbed by these women. Turns out it was a secure location for transporting illegal money. At that moment, Raleigh started to plan revenge on the ladies and went to tell Diaz about it in their guest bedroom. Diaz was in there being booty popped by one of the prostitutes that had a strap-on dildo. Either way, Diaz couldn't explain, and eventually Raleigh wiped him off the map because he was like, dude, really? You didn't tell me you was into all that. So anyway, Pam's boss ended up visiting her again at the hospital. He came with a new deal and contract for Pam to sign. He wanted her to help him and the Bankroll squad, help him to get the Bankroll squad's members. He wanted to use Pam since she knew everything about them, and he felt like she would have no problem locating them, and he could, take the credit and the recognition and the promotion. Of course, Pam agreed, which I was surprised by, and she signed the contract without even reading it. Catfish ended up trying to buy a car from a guy at a gas station, but the guy ended up wasting Catfish's time. He had him to test drive him home to only tell him that he didn't think that Catfish would take care of the car or truck. So you already know what happened. Catfish got the truck anyway and dumped the man in his front yard. Catfish ended up at trap quarters to look for more weapons and cash, but some crackhead had mistaken him for Luther and was looking for crack. The crackhead knew the proposition that Sweetback Fatty had offered Luther. You know, when Sweetback Fatty told Luther that if they could tell him where Tracy was, he could tell them where Pam was, but you know, Luther refused. The crackhead didn't want to converse, he just wanted crack. And when Catfish was taking too long to get the crackhead the crack, he tried to run, but Catfish ended up clotheslining him and had to kill him because he couldn't let this crackhead go out spreading that kind of information. Then Catfish headed on over to Sweetback Fatty's because he wanted to know about this Pam information. Tracy and Jennifer had ended up getting really close, like friends. They talked about Malcolm mainly. Then eventually they got bonds because their charges weren't strong enough to take up space in the federal prison. Their bonds were $100K each. Jennifer's dad would surely come get her, but Tracy didn't have anyone with that kind of money to come and get her, especially since her baby daddy wanted her dead. Jennifer eased her worries and told her that she would have her dad to pay her bond as well. Jennifer also mentioned to Tracy that she was going to turn her life around and hand it over to Jesus and then move to Oklahoma. Luther were now in Florida trying to figure out how they were going to get to the Philippines. Luther suggested getting fake IDs and passports and taking a commercial flight. Brink thought this was the worst plan ever coming from a reckless youngster who clearly didn't understand how risky that would be. Brink decided to take the boat. He had heard about these brothers who helped smuggle people in and out of the country. So the men went two different directions. And Jennifer bonded out and were standing in front of the jail waiting on their rides, I would suppose. Jennifer extended Tracy the invitation to come to Oklahoma with her to get away from, this life and her baby dad and to keep her children safe. Tracy refused because she didn't want to intrude. Soon an SUV pulled up and Sweetback Fatty hopped out with his pistol out. He began to drag Tracy and scold her for leaving their kids and almost going to federal prison. She fought him back, but it did nothing but make him angry. She knew that if she got in that truck, he would kill her. Jennifer came over to help. She started hitting him with her shoe, trying to get him to stop. But he was only getting more and more irritated. When he looked to see who was hitting him, he wondered why this random white lady was meddling. Then Jennifer started praying, asking God to punish him. Sweetback ended up shooting Jennifer in the head right in front of the jail. Scooped up Tracy, who was standing over Jennifer's body crying. He threatened Tracy that as soon as they got home, he was going to finish beating her too. So yeah, that was the end of poor Jennifer's life. Brink set up a meeting with Ro Ralph and his brother Ralph, who happened to be the captain of a ship. Ro Ralph and Brink got acquainted and got the details of the transport. Later, the brother showed up in a Bentley and he was wearing a suit carrying a briefcase. They greeted and introduced themselves and began discussing the trip. Brink told him he needed to get to Cuba, but the best the captain could do was Haiti. Then they discussed pricing. Initially, it was supposed to be 10 grand, but Brink only had $2,500 to his name. So he promised to pay the rest once he got to his destination. So they told him to pay up what he had now, and they would be ready to go by 5 that evening. So he paid, and everyone left except Brink. He stayed at the coffee shop waiting. Luther, on the other hand, had been able to get through the airport security with his fake IDs and documents. So his plan worked. He was in the Philippines and in no time enjoying his wealth and new life. Kyla and Rain were back at trap quarters. They were learning all they could from Treasure, since Treasure had escaped prison on her own. The Lipstick Clique stopped at a gas station to get gas. Treasure went inside to pay, and the twins stayed behind. I guess on the way out of the store, Treasure saw Raleigh pull up, block their car in, and jump out with his shotgun in hand. He was partnered with another agent by the name of Sanow. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Sanow. Anyway, to transport Malcolm from one prison to the other one by van. Sanow was driving and Pam was in the passenger seat. They headed to the prison Malcolm was currently staying in. Eventually they brought him out and escorted him to the van. Pam was shocked at how well he looked and immediately fell back in love with him. She thought that by hurting him he would hate her, but he didn't. He knew she was just doing her job. Meanwhile, Sweetback Fatty was beating Tracy in the yard to the point she was losing consciousness and knew she was about to die. Then within seconds, she saw blood splatter everywhere. Brink was still sitting at the coffee shop at 5 waiting on Roy, Ralph, and Ralph. And then the owner of the place started staring at him, or the manager. Just as he was about to head out, he saw Roy, Ralph, and Ralph pull up in a Lincoln Town car, but also saw men approaching him from the end of the street with FBI shirts on, and then looked the other way and saw more. In that moment, he thought of the plan Luther had pitched to him. Brink ended up throwing his hands in the air, and old Roy Ralph killed him. Pam sat in the van with Malcolm as Sanow pumped gas. Malcolm asked her, didn't she think she had a very important job working for him and all the other great opportunities he provided, making her look at her current situation and what she'd been through with the FBI. Yet they still don't appreciate her or feel like she's an important asset. She ended up telling him she set him up because she was in love with him and wanted him off of the street. However, if he had chosen her to be his lady, she would never have turned him in. Anyhow, so now came back to the van, throwing up and asking Pam if she could drive. So Pam ended up driving. She ended up shooting her partner and haul ass. She also told Malcolm he would have to jump out of the van after she handed him the keys for his handcuffs. So I guess what Malcolm had said to her, like, this, you don't think that I gave you a job that was very important? You don't think that you had opportunities and benefits working for me? You don't think that I appreciated you? Now look who you're risking your life for. You lost your leg. You didn't get your promotion after you put in all this work. They snatched you off the case. So he was just letting her know you look like a fool doing all of this for them, and they don't even appreciate you when I was letting you make millions through me. So anyway, she tossed him the keys, and she knew she couldn't stop this vehicle again because Sanow had told her they could only make one stop, and they made it to get gas. So if they stopped again before they made it to the prison, the cops would have been right on her because of the, GPS tracking system they put on the van. Jumped out, and Pam kept going. For one, she knew that if she stopped again, the cops would be on her because of the tracking device on the vehicle. So she kept going until she had 60 police behind her. She was going at speeds of up to 110 miles per hour. Then the barricade was set up, and ultimately they shot up the van. So Pam got killed. Tracy woke up in a strange house, and Catfish was repeatedly putting a warm towel on her head. And there were two ladies sitting at the table staring at her. Basically, Catfish had witnessed Sweetback beating on Tracy, and his protective instincts kicked in. So he ended up shooting Sweetback and grabbing up Tracy to nurse her back to health. The ladies at the table were Rain and Kyla. Tracy tried to introduce herself, but Kyla told her, I know who you are, and I heard about the rumors about you and Malcolm. So pretty much told her to tread light or she was going to get another beat down, and Tracy was not up for the challenge. Kyla turned on the news about Pam and Malcolm. Tracy was happy to hear the news about Malcolm, but she was ready to get back to her children, and she wanted to follow Jennifer's advice about turning her life over, especially now since she didn't have to worry about baby daddy anymore. So she slipped out of the trap quarters and went on her way. Kyla rubbed her stomach after a short prayer. She wasn't sure how many months she was yet, but she couldn't wait to tell Malcolm the news. So Kyla is pregnant too. And after she saw the news report on Malcolm jumping out of the car, whatever like that, she went into prayer. And then after prayer, she rubbed the belly. That's how you know that she is expecting as well. Arrived from Colorado to Dallas. Then his Dominican friend gave him a ride from Dallas to Houston. Then his Cuban friend gave him a ride to Trap Quarters, all because he had done favors for these people in the past. So he was able to get around pretty swiftly without anyone turning him in or anything like that because of these relationships he made with these other people. So Kyla, Catfish, and Rain headed to the Philippines by commercial flight just as Luther did. So that goes to show Malcolm and Luther think on the same levels. For Malcolm to be much older, and you know, they were trying to, you know, say that Luther didn't seem like a boss, he didn't seem like he could do it or whatever, but that shows you right there they think alike. So, in great minds think alike. So anyway, Kyla's daughter was now part of the family. They lived a life of millionaires. They always gave back to the people in the Philippines, and no one ever questioned them about where their wealth came from. Anyway, one day Malcolm, Kyla, and the baby went to the market for drinks. Since Catfish was having a party or something like that, Malcolm ended up going in, but when he came out, he saw a girl walking towards Kyla who was still in the car with the baby. The girl had her pistol pointed at Kyla. Malcolm headed towards the girl who hadn't noticed him, and the closer he got to her, he saw that she only had one hand. Then he recognized her. It was the same chick that left him hanging when they were boarding the getaway jet. So I am going to end this review right here, because if you want to know what happened after that, then you need to read the book. My thoughts, just a few of my thoughts on some of the things that went on in this book. Truthfully, I think the women who are in love with Malcolm are all stupid. He claims in this series that he never cheated on his wife. However, they never officially got a divorce, him and Jennifer. Yet he had 2 women pregnant at the same time. He may have seemed to be a nice, handsome man, but he was playing them like fools, and he was definitely too much of a flirt for me. Coward 1 let those white girls punk him around, especially Jennifer, but he got what he deserved because he always stole from people. I don't blame Brink and Luther for telling Kyla no about helping her break Malcolm out of prison. Really? They have guards at these maximum security prison standing all on top of the prison with machine guns. Really? She is crazy. I would have told her no too. Number 4, Sunshine went about her crush all wrong. But obviously people do crazy things when they are in love. My thing is, how can you actually be in love with someone that you're not even together with, and who is not reciprocating that deep romantic love back to you? It's like she don't even know you love her like that. And she don't even know why you love her like that, because y'all not even a couple. So I don't understand. Anyway, number 5, that sweetback fatty. Oh my God, I would hate to have him as a baby daddy. I don't even understand his logic though. It's just an example of some people are not fit to fool with. So ladies, please look out for red flags, especially the ones that scream fatal and deranged. Now this man clearly said he did not want this girl. He let her be kidnapped. They tried to bring her back. He said he didn't want her. And then as soon as she started having a relationship with Malcolm, he wanted her killed and all of this. Like, what? You don't even want her, but she not supposed to want nobody else? And if she does, you gonna kill her. Okay. Anyway, I do like the Lipstick Clique girls. They are not playing no games. They didn't rob the Dman mansion. Then when it robbed the the storage unit, like they dumped a bag of $40,000 on the table, then turned around and stole $200,000, and then went and stole $5 million from the man. Like, really? They were like, we don't give away nothing. No. Anyway, what happened with the whole rally showing up from the Dynasty cartel, blocking them in at the gas station? They did mention in the book that somebody got shot, and I'm not sure who it was, but the only person who was standing outside of the car was Treasure. So, and the other thing, how did he know they was at the gas station? He riding around in the pickup truck. These girls could have been anywhere in Houston. How did he know they were there? Unless he had people out watching. But I don't know. This pointer is Brink should have known Ralph and Ralph were playing him. What captain has to walk around in business suit carrying a briefcase? Like, come on now. We know that captains have to wear their uniform when they're driving these ships. But on a day-to-day, when you off of work and your leisure time, you don't have to walk around in business suits carrying no briefcase. What you got in the briefcase? So I think this should have been a red flag or something to let him know that these people are not right. And anyway, they showed up in a Bentley the first time. The next time they showed up was in a Lincoln Town car. But I'm glad he thought about what Luther had told him and, suggested that they do, but really it was too late. Anyway, Pam wanted to get out of her misery anyway. I feel like she just really needed therapy, because losing your leg, losing a limb, that debilitates you. So I just feel like she was going through a lot emotionally, physically, and all of that. She needed to, get therapy, and she was still risking her life and didn't even know that the contract that her boss had brought her was fake. He was just using her. It's like, this dude, no, I wouldn't have trusted him no way, being that he did call Tracy out of her name when she did hit Pam, and y'all the same race, so he's clearly racist. So anyway, good read. This whole series is a good read. I do recommend it if you're the type of person who like, urban street drama, street life, ghetto life, this other lifestyle. It is very entertaining. Like I said, there was comedy, romance, action, danger, suspense. All of that is in this actual series. And next we'll be starting on the Lipstick Clique, which is a part of this series. So it'll be Lipstick Clique 1 and 2. So if you're reading along, following along on this series, please cop those from Amazon or your local bookstore. So yeah, guys, I do want to thank you all for stopping by today. I really appreciate your time and energy. I hope to see you guys on the next video. Peace and love. And as always, be blissful, and also comment if you have read this series before. Leave your thoughts and opinions below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
DJ Mike C on the track.
Cause that be natural.
Lady D.
Ain't looking tacky. I keep my game tactful.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm so nappy. Cause that be natural.
The infamous.
Ain't looking tacky. Cause I keep my game tactful.
I'm so pretty, I'm so faboo, I'm so natural, it's like it's a taboo. I'm so filthy, got the tattoo, fucking these bitches like I own ragu. On my business with my platoon, getting these minutes like I'm a typhoon. Y'all this jersey on that cartoon, and I'm still on top of these buffoons. I'm so nappy, I'm so nappy. All these dudes that wanna get at me, I'm so cultured and I'm happy. Jealous switches wanna come back me, cause I'm comfortable in my skin. End of the day, you lose, I win. I'm so comfortable in my ends. Don't care if I make or lose a few friends, and I look like $1 trillion. Lady D won a lotto, cause in the Lord I trust, and beauty is the motto. Naturally